welcome back. It is part 2 of our interview with Zero G Kitchen, the people behind the very first oven in space. Today they are going to be answering your questions from TikTok, so let's get into it. I'm Sarah Gilbreth, and this is the Martian Street Food Society. So next I would like to go ahead and launch into some of the questions from TikTok.
Oh, TikTok question.
I love TikTok.
Okay, so the first one is about the smell. The question is it true that smells don't really go away on the space station? So the astronauts were smelling the baked cookies for much longer than they were actually baking.
I hope so.
Well, yeah, we hope so. I mean, the smell, I mean, it's a closed environment, so it's gonna circulate a bit. We should ask them. I don't think we asked them that. Sure. I don't think we asked them that. That's
okay. All right, I will go on to the next one. Can you talk about the similarities between sea level baking, high altitude baking, and space station baking?
Okay, so the difference between sea level and high altitude, the real difference is the atmospheric pressure. Here we weren't dealing really with a difference in pressure. I mean, we were dealing with the space station pressure. What we're dealing with here is the absence of gravity, and that is not something you get at high altitude unless you're doing like one of these dives for 30 seconds. So it's a very different thing. It is dealing with the absence of something that you utterly take for granted in normal life, which is the fact that things will fall downwards.
Okay. All right, so next one, microwaves. Would microwave time for cooking cookies or for something else also be longer in space than on Earth?
I don't know, but I know that you don't have the power capacity.
Well, you do. Well, I mean, you need to.
A high voltage, I don't know. It's also, it would have to get to safety. I mean.
Really? So a microwave would be less likely to be used in the space station than an oven?
The issue with the microwave has more to do with the RF interference issues.
Radiation?
No, it's not the radiation. It's the RF because it operates at the 245 gigahertz and is it megahertz?
I mean, I've had popcorn. I've had 245 bags explode in the microwave.
Yeah, and
I don't think that would go too well.
Yeah, I think that it's the RF environment that they try to make as clean as possible on the space station. So I'm not sure myself what prevents them, but that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay. All right, next up, thinking about zero-G baking with no convection, is there a danger of finding a pocket of incredibly hot air that escaped the oven?
That was an issue insofar as people ask the question, okay, you open up the oven, then the pocket of air comes out, and what if it hits you in the face or whatnot? The answer is
they waited a while to
the answer is that it dissipates pretty quickly, even in the closed space area of the space station. Even though you're making it hot, you're not making it that hot. I mean, this is not 1,000 degrees, this is 300. So the risk reality was pretty low.
Okay. We also got several questions about fans. We know that putting fans in different parts of the space station does help move air around. Would it help to put fans inside the oven to move the heat around and sort of create your own convection?
Probably, but it would have made the oven so much more complicated.
Okay. Okay. Here's a question about infrared. Could you have used infrared ovens or infrared light in your ovens? And if yes, would that have been faster?
Do people use infrared ovens on Earth?
I have never heard of it, but it was a question that I thought was interesting. And I said I would ask.
I gotta look that up because I cook quite a bit, and I'm like sort of
I
oven
mean, you always
aware.
already use microwave. If you use infrareds, does that work? I mean, the reason
I
why
don't
you
know.
use microwave is it excites the modes of the molecules, and then that creates heat. But I'm not sure
To this
what is
question,
for
can we buy a
infrared.
vowel?
Yeah, let's buy a
Let's buy a
vowel.
vowel.
Okay. Okay, the next question, we had a couple of people, not as many as the fans, but a few people ask about sous vide cooking.
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh,
We're into that.
oh, sous vide cooking. Yes. So putting it in the bag and putting it in the water. We'd love to do that.
all right, so that's maybe one of the projects we can see coming up next from you guys.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we would love to do that.
Okay, here's a question about flour. It doesn't sound like you guys really mixed the material yourself, so that's probably not going to be.
Yeah, flour has actually Jordana can come in with
Yeah.
flour has a real safety problem. It actually has a real safety problem on Earth because dust.
I don't know. It was a fire hazard.
It's a fire. I mean, it's a fire hazard. I mean, it's basically it's electrostatically. The flour itself can be electrostatically charged, and there's a lot of surface area for the volume, so it makes it a very flammable thing. And in bakeries, it can be
very flammable.
yeah, it
if
can
it's
be
not
very flammable.
stored in a certain way. Or
Yeah, and
just-
that yeah.
Yeah, I was reading about this for a previous episode that I did, and lots of articles were talking about how flour mills and flour storage granaries are particularly susceptible to spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a big.
Like not-
She
Yeah,
she had
I
to.
know. In a previous many years ago, I worked in government, and I dealt with a series of bakery combustion issues. And I didn't know flour was a hazard at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and in space, I would assume it's a double hazard because not only do you have the
Yes.
flammable issue, but it is also granular and it can get in
Yeah.
get into
Yeah,
things
yeah, it's
and-
I can definitely see bringing up the dough, unfrozen, frozen, but to bring up the flour and to use, I mean, if it's contained, you could mix it, but having just powdered flour.
So that's something where, like, if, for example, a flour company like a King Arthur or whatever, so we want to develop a space safe flour, that'd be an interesting project.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be an interest. So what would be the steps to even?
I have no
Yeah.
idea.
But
I mean,
I
do
think
you-
you'd have to have some binding agent.
but-
Yeah, you'd have to be slightly
something-
damp, the same way that all of the like salt and pepper are like in a solution because it's water based. If it's if you're
But
trying to
that's a product or project that I think you could do that would be interesting to do something that was just space focused for space.
yeah, that would be really fascinating. This
Yeah.
is a productive interview. Okay, I'm gonna try to scan things that we haven't already said. Oh yeah, okay. So we did have a couple of comments about easy bake ovens. I had commented in a previous video about easy bake ovens.
We had the one of the people who markets Easy Bake Oven
approach us.
contact us.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, it was right. Literally,
was right
a
before
lot
the
of this stuff happened, and then it was a pandemic.
Yeah.
What were they looking to do? Did they want it to be like a marketing thing?
It was a marketing. I'm not sure. It never got far because I
I
think
think
the
it
whole
was
thing shut.
pandemic, but they were interested in marketing the oven as well as like a certain mix and have that mix be used in space and sell the same mix on Earth.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like whatever easy bake, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
it never. I don't think it was.
didn't really. It was
it
very
didn't get
early.
It was very early.
Wow.
Pandemic.
Super early pandemic, but that was an idea.
Okay, and then I've got two more questions. I know we're a little bit over time, so I do apologize. I'm just trying to get through as many of these as possible. Next up is about Instapot. People were asking, would Instapots also be able to work because they are pressurized?
You think they'll ever let that onto a space station? Maybe yes. I
have an
mean,
Instapot that for the first few times I was scared to use it because of all the pressure.
yeah.
Even though
We have right here. It's I'd like to see that happen.
I think it would be funny.
I would like to see the day that we have that. Maybe it's on the outside of a station.
Oh yeah, just hang it outside, put on your
Yeah,
space.
something like that.
Yeah. Okay. And then
It becomes a propulsion system at that point.
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh, we could do that with my other
Yeah,
business.
quick release and go.
I think we already make those in my other business. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, last question. This is talking about yeast. How does the low humidity of space and possibly also the altitude in the space station affect the yeast? Does it make it flat? Does it enhance size?
We don't know. I will say NASA, when they were preparing for Korean astronauts and they wanted to prepare kimchi, they had to make a special kimchi without the active bacteria in it. I don't know if that really answers your question, but it gives you an idea how they view active food, active cultured foods.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I forgive me for not being very familiar with the exact DoubleTree cookie recipe. Does that recipe not use any sort of rising agent in it, or I mean, I
maybe baking soda,
baking soda.
There's no yeast in it.
That makes sense. Okay, so I think that is all of the questions I have that are not repeats. So is there anything else that you want to tell the audience about either what's next for you guys, or maybe like a challenge that you would like to issue to see somebody else create?
I'd like to know who wants to line up at our bakery. Should we have one of those things where you take a ticket and
Take a number.
Take a number and you wait for us to bag 6 bagels for you?
All of today's questions came from TikTok, which is where I announce all of my upcoming interviews. So if you would like to contribute a question to an upcoming interview, go follow me there. I'll put the contact information down below. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.